You can't hear me? What? What's the problem? I can't hear you.
I can't hear you either.
Can you hear me? Hold on a second. Let me see here. Am I having a problem now tonight? Is that what this is going to be?
Hi, Damien.
Is it going to be one of these things? Let me see here. Built-in. No, it says the line out.
Sound is coming through.
there you
I can
go.
see it on my monitor, but I can't hear anything in my earbuds.
I
you can't hear us?
We can hear you.
Yeah.
So hold on a second.
Oh, he's got to go find some way. Okay, but here we are, folks. I see on the TV they're seeing me working on my thing because here I'm going to put my cap on tonight because I'm also doing a different kind of thing where I've actually got a picture of me. See?
Got it. Okay, here we go.
Okay, you good to go now?
Yes.
I can hear you.
God, I thought it was my problem.
No, I was trying to signal I couldn't hear, but it was me.
Do you notice?
Hear, it was me.
You notice that's what happens with TV.
Turn him down a little.
Huh?
Turn him down. Yeah.
That's what happens with all of this. That whenever something doesn't work, you blame yourself first, right?
Well, I actually knew it was me because I had it. I had the same problem last Friday when I called.
Oh, I see. Well, you changed where your computer is, right?
Yes. Well, yes. Today I'm actually calling from my regular computer in its new home.
In its new home. Oh, isn't that cute? Anyway, so it's just you and I, Damien,
And me. See, you're doing it again. I'm always left
Hey,
out.
girlfriend.
Hi, Damien. See, he just totally ignores me.
Well, we're on the internet now, also at new.livestream.com/Alex Bennett, and that's how you can get to us for that. So anyway, I have nothing to talk about. Do you have anything to talk about, girlfriend?
I'm just going to roll over and say hi.
Oh, all they're seeing is your hand. There they go. Now they can see you. Yeah, there you go.
I'm going to roll back.
Huh?
I'm rolling back.
You're rolling back. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Here's Phil Meyer. Oh, and Hugo Fournier and Jason and Sabrina. Let me see here. Let's see if they all start coming up here. Hello, Jason. How are you tonight?
Pretty good. Yourself?
Fine. And Damien's here. Are you there, Phil?
Yes, God punishes.
Yeah. Are you? Your camera isn't on.
You sound better than last night.
What do you mean sounds better than last night?
I'll turn it on and off again.
Well, he sounds better than normal.
Uh,
I love the voice, man. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just practicing to be a union rep.
Oh, jeez. Hey, by the way, I got to tell you, you've been so on this union thing, this jag. Hi, Hugo. How are you?
Hey, how are you?
Say hello to you this evening too.
Hi, Hugo.
Hello.
Phil is been on this union thing, and today, and don't do this to me ever again. Okay, he sends me a message on Facebook, and it's like. If you were to print it out, it'd be like 4 printed pages long, right? And I'm sorry, I'm not going to read that whole goddamn thing in that little print that's on the messaging of Facebook.
Well, I had 2. One was about Albert Shanker and all the crap that he did.
He was the best joke in Woody Allen's. Remember the one where he dies at St. Vincent's Hospital?
He did everybody a favor.
Sleeper.
Yeah.
Woody Allen did everybody a favor?
No, Albert Shanker.
No. And then he goes into the future, and they talk about what went on in the past while he was asleep. And one of the things was, and then a guy by the name of Albert Shanker got his hands on the bomb. And that was the big. I always remember that as the Albert Shanker joke. He was the head of the teachers union. I'm sure you hate the teachers union too.
Yeah. If you look up corruption in the teachers union, it's spelled Albert Shanker.
Really? I didn't remember him as being particularly corrupt. Jason?
See, so I just I was listening to those shows too with you guys talking about the unions.
Yeah.
And right now, we'll kind of forget that I've mentioned what company I work for, but we're working without a contract right now because our contract's up. But one of the things at my company, they want us to give concessions on our health care again. Well, everybody says, well, health care keeps on going up. Well, they want us to pay a higher percentage. It'll be 3 contracts in a row that we've given in concessions on our health care, when even during the recession, the company I work for never lost any money. They've been making money hand over fist, like been record highs every single year. They make more and more and more and more money. That's
Jason,
one of the things that the union fights for.
Do you know how high on the hog these guys are living that are your union representatives?
Oh, geez.
They'd have plenty of money to give you all the things that you need. But
where's
can't.
a gun? I want to shoot myself.
They got more condos that they have to buy in Florida.
Phil,
more limousines.
Phil, my union international president makes $250,000 a year.
Yeah, well, check out what other bennies he gets.
The president of the company that I work for makes a hell of a lot more than that.
Yeah, that's because he owns the company. But you check out and you see what the other perks are.
He owns
it on my back.
He owns the company, but he runs it on the backs of the workers. And you should
so
appreciate.
You say.
When you're making $30 billion a year, why do I have to give in concessions? $30 billion a year.
Times are tough.
I have to pay more. Yeah.
Yeah, we've been joined by Scott Boddicker, by the way. I want you. Hi, Scott.
Hey, Alex.
Yeah, say hi to everybody. I mean, I don't want to get into this like we were getting into it the other night.
I'm physically not capable of it.
Good. That's why. I won't be happy tonight until I see you getting so riled up that you start bleeding from your mouth. Okay?
I've been doing that all day.
Huh?
I felt like I've been doing that all day.
So have you been on a liquid diet since you broke your tooth?
Yeah, pretty much. I had pancakes yesterday, but everything is soft. They're gonna bring me in on Monday instead of May 6th.
What's bringing you in on Monday? Dentists, when something goes wrong, they always have a hole in their schedules for emergencies. And this
guy's
is an
a friend
emergency.
of mine. I'm not
He's
going
not
to
no
bust his
friend.
chops.
Oh yeah, and I wish I had a friend that good.
Well,
I
you
mean,
did.
come on, huh?
You did.
No, but and I don't remember him. No, but what I'm saying is that you have this dental problem. He should just want to take you right in and make sure you're not in pain any longer.
Well, on Friday, at the time I said, it's just a mild irritating pain, no problem. Then by the evening, I was I was in the middle of being tortured by small characters with machetes that would rip at me 1,000 cuts at a time. It was not good.
Death by 1,000 paper cuts.
Yeah.
Look at that! Look at that! Look at that! She's asleep, and this week everybody can really see her.
Hey, she's just taking her nap so she can go on Jim's show.
Huh?
What are you doing?
I'm just letting everybody see you sleeping. That's all.
It's been a long week.
Yeah. You're gonna make it to Jim's show. Really good.
She's having her nap.
Yeah, she's having her nap.
Give her her own show.
Yeah. I mean, listen. There were back in the day some fairly corrupt unions. There's no argument about that.
If you read the stuff I sent you, it's not back in the day.
Look, you sent me a list of grievances. All right.
Oh,
by
I sent
people,
you a list of convictions.
Or convictions or whatever in unions. I can show you a list of convictions in politics. I can show you lists of convictions in people who run companies.
I understand, but we're not paying them dues. These guys are misappropriating the money that
I have never in my
hardworking
life
people are paying,
You
and
just-
then
hey, wait a
and they're
minute, wait a
buying
minute,
into the
hold on a
fact that
second.
they think it's a good thing.
Hold on a second. My union never misappropriated my money. Hell, I get a check every month for about $1,000 for only a short time that I have worked under union auspices. I mean, I'm only sad that I didn't work more union jobs in the business for AFTRA, because I could be getting $5,000-$10,000 a month as pension. But
Well,
I'm getting 1,000, and I hardly worked at all. I worked for about.
Granted, the flour workers of America and things like that probably didn't beat up their constituents the way some of these other heavy-handed things did.
They
were some of these guys, like, look, the dock workers.
Oh no,
workers.
we're not saying that on the waterfront wasn't an accurate reflection of what went on with unions at that time.
Still is.
No.
Yeah, you
No.
want something, it's got to fall off the back of a truck. Matter of fact, you didn't live in New York at the time. There used to be a commercial called JGE
Yeah, but wait a
Appliances.
minute.
You remember that?
Oh, here we. This is going to go on for the next month. This union thing with him. You don't have a union in your shop, right?
No.
Have they ever tried to put a union in your shop?
Sometimes I was disgusted enough that I thought about it. Yeah.
No.
But then I came to reality.
Did they ever come to you and say, "We're going to break your legs unless you put a union in your shop"?
No, because they knew I carried a gun.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yes, yes, Jason.
Oh man, I just got so many points that I've kind of almost lost.
Just take a deep breath, and I'm sure you will find them all.
When you were talking about people coming in strong-arming people back in the day, in your dad's shop, did your dad take union dues out of the paychecks, or was it maybe somebody coming by and saying, "Hey, you need to pay your union dues"? And I'm sorry, you got to be a little bit of a tough guy to come in and tell people you need to pay up. You need to pay your bills.
I don't remember. I was 17. I don't remember if there were any issues over money. I do remember that we had a very big payroll, and sometimes I was sent to the bank because they didn't. I was innocuous. But so what you're saying is, did my father pay the dues, or did he not?
No, it's more of a because you're saying you saw strong men coming in, and were they weren't going after your dad.
Well, to begin with,
they were.
Let's put this in context. Yeah. That was maybe 50 years ago. Okay, that's for starters. Then it was also in New York City at a time when most unions were being run literally by the mob, and
those that wanted to be mobsters.
Or no, they were mobsters.
The unions provided loans to the mob, and the mob in return provided some muscle.
Yeah, but those days were 50 years ago. It's not today.
No, not at all.
You want to believe that?
Yeah,
you believe it.
I believe it.
I'm a union steward, I'm one of the loudmouths, and I'm a loudmouth towards management, and I'm a loudmouth towards the union too. When I disagree with stuff that they're doing, I let them know.
And you're still walking?
Yeah, man. People respect it. When you can stand up to both sides and you have your own points of view, people respect it, and they have to respect it because you're not some little, weasel. They know what you stand for.
What's really terrible in my life is when you're trying to do a radio program and the person who says they love you is sound asleep. It really gives you encouragement. Huh?
It's been a long week. It's been a long week for me.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it's Friday.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm using a bigger picture of myself on screen tonight so they can see you.
Where am I?
Don't worry about it. There are too many monitors here. Anyway, I'm going back to the show. Why don't you go to sleep?
I will.
And then don't forget to wake up at midnight so you can call Jim.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night. Good night, dear. Hello to Tony, by the way. Tony Magno is joining us.
I like the talk between you and Phil with the union.
Yeah, but it's wearing a little thin because he's like an old fart who doesn't realize that was a long, long time ago that he formed. You see, I formed my attitude about unions with my father, who was a musician and belonged to the musicians union, and I used to hang around the musicians union. Union Hall in San Francisco.
I'll make one other point.
Here we go. He's going to make one more point.
One other point, and I'll drop it.
Are you sure it's going to be a point that you haven't made before?
I might have, but I'll make this one again, and I'll drop it. There's a difference between a guy who's working and is represented by the union and the guy who has to make his payroll and pay his union payroll, because it's not a static environment. What happens? Well, you're playing the violin.
Actually, I should play this one. That's the smallest violin ever.
Yeah, when you get the job, there's got to be something left over. If there's nothing left over, you can't pay your bills, and it's not a pretty sight.
But
and
Phil,
the union squeezes you to the point where there's nothing left.
That's what's bullshit, because the union needs the company to prosper, or else they don't.
Yeah, well, let me tell you, their real attitude is, I don't give a shit whether you prosper or not, as long as you pay the dues. And if you go under, screw you, somebody else will pop up that thinks he can make a living.
They don't get any money. You know,
you know something, though? If we go with this argument tonight, again, it's going to be like the other night with Phil. We're just going to be going around in circles.
All right, I told you. One point, and I was done.
And let me ask you one last question, though, Phil. Who do you think is more anti-union? You, who just saw stuff, or your dad?
My dad ended up dead. So
yeah, well, your dad is
not as the result of the union, by the way.
As a result of the stress.
Well,
you know what my dad's idea of a holiday was?
What?
Checking into the hospital for observations for the weekend. That was the way he rested.
By the way, since he's been quiet for a while, I just want to see if Damien has anything to say about any of this.
Not directly on what you guys are talking about, although I do have a comment on something that was said on Tuesday that's a little off topic.
Okay, go right ahead.
Okay, well, it was that you had the caller Mike, and Mike and Phil were going back and forth. Mm-hmm. And, I don't know Mike. He sounded like a really nice guy. I totally agreed with his viewpoints with unions. Mm-hmm. However, Phil said something that really rang true for me, and something that Mike said that really I didn't like at all. Phil said, waving the flag doesn't mean you're a good person. And what I heard Mike say at least 3 times was, I have 5 children and I was in the military. I'm a good person and I'm a good American. And he said it right in that order. And I would just like to point out that having 5 kids does not make you a good person, and being in the military does not make you a good American.
No, it doesn't.
Neither of these make you a good person and make you a good American. But, he kept saying it as if it did make him a good person and a good American, and I just, I feel like anyone can have 5 children, and anyone with an IQ over 80 can be in the military.
Mike,
so, these are not things that you should hold as a badge. Again, he seemed like a nice guy to me, and I agreed with his points.
I didn't disagree with his point from the direction that he was coming from, because he's looking out for himself and his family, and the union is his family. But on the other hand, I've seen it from another direction. And that when you join the union, one of the questions they asked me was, have you ever been a member of the Communist Party?
When did they ask you that question? I'll bet you it wasn't any time after 1960.
It was 71.
That's ridiculous.
It was
I
one of
was
the
never
questions.
asked that question, Phil.
Huh?
It was
never
one of
asked
the
that
I mean, those are the
I was
questions
asked.
they asked people during the McCarthy era, and that was during the 50s and maybe into the 60s. Maybe where you went, it slopped over because they forgot to take it off the list of questions.
That was more than my entire lifetime ago.
Yeah. And the next question right under it was, why is this night different from all other nights?
Because
It's
we're
a
working
Jewish
for the
joke,
Italians.
folks. I don't expect anybody to get that one. Hugo, you got anything to say in this whole dust up here?
No, I'm pro-union. It seems like when there was more union, that there was a bigger middle class and everything was better. So, now it doesn't seem like there seemed to be a trend anyway, or that's what the economists seem to be saying.
When the unions were stronger,
Yes.
you're right. I mean, there was a better. That's where the whole middle class came up from, and it came up from steel workers and teamsters and guys who belonged to the musicians union. Boy, is that wimpy, huh? You
sounds
better
like a
join
safe
you better join our organization, or we're going to break your trombone.
But that sounds like one that there's no, like, Phil's unions is like muscleheads. And I would rather be in the musician union because there's nobody going to beat
I'd rather
you.
be in a union with muscleheads. If my union after it had muscleheads in them, man, I'm telling you, they would have broken some turntables, some turntables and VU meters, But I don't know. I just always wanted a union that was a little tougher, and of course you wanted a union that wasn't tough at all. Jason?
I wanted one that was fair.
Yeah.
I love it
Not
at my
tough.
work when I got my coworkers who sit there and bitch and complain about the union. Oh, they don't do enough and blah, blah, blah. They're not tough enough. I always want to carry a little mirror around in my pocket and just hold it up to their face and say, okay, now tell me that again, because you are the union.
Mm-hmm.
It kills me.
Damien?
Well, my opinion is that it seems to me, regardless of what your opinion on unions are, we all know what corporate greed gives us. And the corporations and business owners would take advantage of us as much as possible if there weren't some sort of, advocacy group that stands up for the workers. Now, the unions may not have been the best solution and may not still be the best solution, but, it's clear that something needs to be there, or corporate America is just going to squash us, and we'll be working for pennies on the dollar, pennies
Well,
for
I mean,
pennies an hour.
unions in America are at an all-time low. I mean, my union, in New York, as I said the other night, with my union, which is after the American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, I always was pissed off because radio came second after television. And it used to be called AFRA before television came along. But in New York City, every radio station was a union shop. And today, you barely can find a union shop in broadcasting here in New York. And that's pretty terrible. You can find it mostly in television. They still exist there. Yes,
Hey, Alex, when you were in the union, they still used stone tablets to communicate.
Yes. Jason?
See, that's one thing that kind of gets me with Republicans, too. I would almost think that they would be more pro-union because you don't want a big federal government setting regulations and everything. Well, if you had stronger unions, you could have more local government setting
I agree with you,
regulations.
Jason. But you know what unions look like or feel like to me? They feel like organized religion. And I mean, they just have that same tone as you're either with us or you're against us. It's like organized religion.
You have to almost be like that in any type of job that you have. You have to take pride in your work. You have to take pride in the company you work for, and you have to take pride in your community. And that's if that's what you're comparing to organized religion, I guess I don't know.
Well, if that was the case and everybody took pride and was interested in the company they work for as well as their own well-being, then that's the fairness that I'm talking about and that I would support. But that's not the way it is. It's very adversarial.
All right. Well, I think we should. You had one thing, Damien, that you wanted to say, and then we can maybe see if we can find another topic somewhere. Because
I was done.
Huh? You were done.
I was done.
You were done. Oh, we just lost my camera. Hold on a second.
Can you see me raising my hand?
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Who's
Do now.
I can't see it right now.
Jason.
And to our audience who's watching this on TV, the reason everybody's frozen is because they're frozen to me too. But who was talking about it? I mean, Scott, was it you that had your hand up?
No, Jason.
Jason.
I just had one thing to say to Damien with that lighting. Can you say, remember the 5th of November?
Damien,
you just totally have a Guy Fawkes look right now, man.
No, Damien's look tonight is very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's very dramatic.
Yes.
The lighting.
It's called hatchet lighting.
Yeah. And everybody's frozen.
No, it's actually just the regular lighting in my house.
Yeah, well, when you light from one side and one side's black and one side's lit, yours wraps around a little bit, but they call it hatchet lighting.
Yeah. I have an overhead light right there, and you can see you can kind of see it on my hand.
Yeah,
but it's not very bright, clearly.
Wow. Yeah, I wonder why everybody freezes every now and then.
Cold.
Nobody froze for me.
Yeah. See, I mean, and they tell me when you go to when I look this stuff up on what do you call
Skype.
it on Skype, they say, oh well, it's because you don't have enough bandwidth. I got so much fucking bandwidth, I don't know what to do with all of it.
It's just a hiccup, though. That's what it's saying.
It doesn't know what to do either, so that's why it freezes every once in a while just to play around.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, what was that movie with the song where the guy has the band and he's trying to put it together, the marching band?
Music Man?
Music Man, yeah. If you'd say, sort of sing that when it comes to your band.
I would love to hear you make some modern references. That would be nice. It would just be uplifting. If you said,
I was frozen back in 1964, and I just just came out of that state.
But I mean, it'd be better if you said, remember that movie about those like 6 guys or so on who were fighting people from outer space? Oh, you mean the Avengers? Then it would be a little more au courant, as it were.
It's probably because I worked my ass off those years and I never watched it.
Did anybody here tonight see any part of that interview with Mr. Kardashian?
I missed it.
Did you see a little bit of it, Jason?
Yeah, my wife recorded it, and we were watching it.
Is this the original Kardashian?
No, this...
He's dead, isn't he?
He doesn't even know what was on television tonight.
It was funny when they asked him, is it true you might be doing this for a media thing to get attention to your show? And he just started laughing. And, that kind of makes me think maybe it is just a publicity stunt.
Well, the one funny line that he had there was when she said that to him, and he said, how did you, feel about having to hide your feelings on the TV show? And he said, well, had they let me talk about it, the show would have been more about me than about them. But I just, I don't like the guy. I mean, I want to feel his. If you're going to feel his plight, as it were, you'd like to like him, and you really don't.
But there's one thing that I've heard you say a couple of times about, you're this old, why are you doing this now? And I have heard some people who are transgender on different talk shows before talking about how, I've lived my whole entire life feeling this way when I knew I was this way. I don't want to die like that. And that's why a lot of times you see people who are older doing the...
Yeah, but they're not usually 65, They usually come to that decision when they're like 50 or so.
He might have had outside pressure because of his he's famous, so there might have been a lot of outside pressure that forced him not to go that route.
Well, I'm sure that Chris Jenner, who's the manager, who incidentally, I thought that was just a recent thing that she started managing these kids and everything, but actually she managed his career years ago, and made him have a comeback. But that she may have said, look, don't screw the family business. If you come out with that,
how worse can it be than whatever those kids have been doing?
Looking at her Kim's tush every week, I don't care what anybody says. That ain't pretty. It looks like she's carrying doorknobs in her ass. Am I being too rude? Did you ever watch them, Tony? You ever watch the Kardashians?
Actually, I don't really watch any reality TV. I could never really get into it.
What's the mother's name? Is that Chris?
Chris.
I just know the father.
Hot.
Well, the father was Robert Kardashian. I remember from the OJ trial, right?
Right, he was the lawyer. Yeah.
The lawyer, yeah.
Yeah, she worked him to death.
Well, also their problem with their marriage, the reason their marriage fell apart, was that she was she was good friends with OJ's wife,
Brown,
and Nicole. And when he went and defended him, she found that very hard to take, But he did a good job.
She spent the money.
Huh?
She spent the money anyway.
I don't think he made much money off that trial.
I thought it was like $25 million that it cost OJ.
I don't know that it may have. I just don't remember there was ever a price being put out on that,
Yeah.
So, but if anybody else out there is listening and saw that show tonight, I'd like to know what you think. And even if you didn't see that show tonight, I'd like you to call up and tell me what you think. We could use a woman on the panel right now.
Hey,
Maybe
my wife is right here and she watched it.
Oh, okay. Is that Sabrina?
Leslie.
No.
Oh, Leslie. Oh, your wife. Oh, okay. I was trying to figure out because also Jason has a wife who comes on every now and then. Hi, what's your name?
Hamlet.
Have her get closer to the microphone because we can't hear her.
Get close to the microphone, but I don't like.
What?
I don't like to have my picture online.
Yeah. So did you watch?
Yeah, I just got finished watching it.
Yeah. And what did you think?
I liked it. It was interesting.
It was interesting?
Yeah, I learned things I didn't know about him.
Like what?
Like he was actually transitioning back in the 80s, and then he changed his mind.
Really? Because
Yeah.
I didn't get to that part of it.
Yep.
But
He said that?
yeah.
Yep. He did.
Yeah.
He was going through the change, and he did it for like 5 years, and then he changed his mind, decided it wasn't fair to his children.
Jason?
My wife just came in and said, he's been on hormones since the 80s, but then he changed his mind. It's not a publicity stunt, you jackass.
Yeah. He said that too. He can't believe people think that it would be a publicity stunt because he's not a Kardashian. I know.
No, but
he's related to them, but he's not a Kardashian.
But when you've spent your whole life forcing yourself into the public consciousness, those kind of things don't die easily, and there's part of that at play here. I think, actually, to be honest with you, I don't think that he's doing it as a publicity stunt, but he thinks in those terms. That's where his whole life has been informed, because when you're spending your life in front of a camera every 13 weeks or something like that, and everything you do is open up to scrutiny, you then start thinking about how do I get publicity for something, and I think there was some of that in this. Yes, Jason.
What was the name of that one comedian, that female comedian? She has her own TV show right now.
Ellen DeGeneres?
No, she's a comedian, Comedy Central.
Amy Schumer?
Amy Schumer. Did you watch her last show?
No.
What her last show was? It was really
I'll be
funny.
right back.
Okay.
She had this song on there too, something about lemonade, milk, and around the corners where the fudge is made.
Oh yeah.
But then she had this transsexual on there, and looking at that transsexual compared to Bruce Jenner, I was looking at her on Amy Schumer's show, and I'm just like, man, she's hot. you know, Bruce Jenner, I don't see nothing but him, but a football player or something.
Let me put it this way. I mean, Bruce Jenner, I could see there that if he were a lot younger, he would probably look pretty good as a woman. He would not look bad as a woman.
If you like a chiseled chin.
Well, I mean, he went out and he's had a lot of work done, you know. He had his Adam's apple shaved. The nose was done years ago. I interviewed him. I suddenly remembered tonight that I had interviewed him. I can't remember. It might have been at one of the Olympics. And after I was through interviewing him, I remember distinctly I didn't particularly like him. I felt he was just a little on the strange side, and it had nothing to do with being transgender or anything else. He was just a little weird. And so I said to somebody, I said, boy, he looks weird. And they say, well, he's had some face work done because he had cancer. And I went, and I've thought about it now, and I don't think I ever remember him having cancer.
Was he vain, Alex, you think, coming across, maybe?
What, vain tonight?
Meaning like when you interviewed him, did he come across like that jock mentality?
I don't know. I just remember I didn't like him that much. I felt
because you have a good judge of character. You interviewed a lot of people, so you probably could pick a vibe.
You know how sometimes there are people you're around and you feel uncomfortable being around them.
I don't really.
And I think I had that same discomfort watching him tonight. I mean, I understand the plight of transgender people. I've known, as I said, a lot of the more famous transgender people. And I've accepted for years that certain people want to be thought of as being a female, and so you give them the respect of doing that, okay? But I watched him tonight, and I went, I want to have empathy for this guy, but I don't like him. You know
why?
Huh?
You know why?
Why?
Because the headline on Drudge, right underneath his picture, says, "I'm a Republican."
There you go, Alex.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Is that true?
Is that true? Yeah.
It's the headline.
Oh, my God.
You said it tonight on the show.
I'm a Republican. Well, then fuck him. You know, cut your dick off and feed it to the dogs.
Yeah, they asked him something about would he stand up for transgender people and go talk to Mitch McConnell, and what would Mitch McConnell say? And he said, I think he would be receptive. That's what he said.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, right.
Be receptive.
Unless he cuts it off, then he wouldn't be receptive.
So would he be like a soft log cabin Republican?
I mean, I'm a Republican. That's what Drudge got out of this whole interview. Was I'm a Republican. You know,
and of course that soundbite of Alex saying I'm a Republican.
Yeah. I wonder if people are reacting to that more negatively than the fact that he's, a transgender. But you know what people don't understand, though, and this is the strange one. They think that if a guy likes to wear women's dresses, that
he's a Republican.
Well, the old stories about J. Edgar Hoover, those old stories.
Yeah.
And Cardinal Spellman here in New York. He used to Cardinal Francis Spellman used to go down to the Village, dress up as a woman, and they would refer to him when he came in as Aunt Franny. So but the transgender and transsexual really and transvestites are not necessarily gay. And that's why people find it. Sawyer wasn't able to grasp in her small little brain of hers, which incidentally was on the plane with Nixon when he left the White House. The brain went with him. She couldn't wrap her head around the fact that your gender can be one thing and your sexuality can be another. You know what I'm saying? Which would discount lesbians and gays, wouldn't it?
I am not a crook.
But it was she just, if anybody who saw that, well, there's nobody around. Well, your wife, Hugo, saw it. Yep. Didn't you think that she was having a hard time wrapping her brain around that concept?
Well, she asked him about it several times, so I guess so.
Yeah, I mean,
I kept trying to tell her that.
How can you like women but you want to be dressed? Hey, I like women, and there's never been anything in his life to say otherwise. For the most part, this guy, for all of his life, is married to some pretty hot women, some pretty gorgeous women.
Was he
and he's
married
had
to
quite
Christy,
quite a
whatever her
few
name was?
children. What?
Christy something, the tennis player?
No.
No.
No, he was married to a Christie, but it wasn't. She wasn't a tennis player.
I have to come out of the closet and say I am a lesbian.
Are you?
Yes.
Really? So am I.
Yeah. The only real men left are the Republicans, and now we're losing them left and right.
Yeah. But I mean, it was just a weird interview because she just couldn't get it. She could not get that you can be both things. You can be heterosexual and you can be transgender. Of course, if you then go out and get a sex change, then that would probably make you a lesbian. I mean, I guess.
Not necessarily.
She asked him that.
Huh?
She asked
Because-
him that.
And when
He said he's asexual for now.
he's asexual for now.
Because if he's a lesbian,
No,
he'd like women.
He's not asexual. He's 65.
That's what it said too.
Did he say what size his prostate was?
No. But I mean, it was have you ever known any transgenders, Damien? I would think with a person with just the kind of people you come into contact with all the time that you might have had somebody you knew who was.
Yes, I've known a few.
And what's your take on this whole thing?
Well, I think the more transgender people you've known, the more of a non-issue this is.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Yeah.
I don't think I could possibly care less about Kris Jenner's sexuality or his gender identity. I just really.
To begin with, it's Bruce Jenner.
Sorry, yeah.
And I think he should change his name to Bruce Gender. He brought it up so much.
I'm almost 40 years in San Francisco, and I've seen every kind of person showing themselves as to what they think they want to be or really are. And, I just accept them for what they are. And if that's the way they want to be treated, I just give them the respect that they're due.
We just lost Tony, by the way. Somebody else call up to fill his space. It's Gabnet Live, GABNETLIVE on Skype. Or if you want to phone by phone, you can do so by calling at 347-352-0079. That's 347-352-0079. Call now so you don't forget. That's what they always say on those ads. No, but you said something there that absolutely resounded with me, and I think that's what bothered me about the interview. I mean, I've known transgender people for the last, since the 60s.
Yeah.
Okay? So him suddenly coming on and doing this whole thing and crying a little and telling the whole story, I'm going, I walked out. I just said, I'm bored.
Yeah, who cares?
I knew people who were going through this kind of thing when it wasn't, but there was nobody there to have sympathy for you. They just did it. And I feel sorry for the person who's transgender and dressed up as a woman and got the crap beaten out of them back in the 40s. But I don't feel sorry for this guy's got so much goddamn money he can buy his friends.
I feel like my own sexual identity is complicated enough that I don't really need to spend the energy on other people's.
Yeah, Sam Lippert is calling. Hello, Sam. Where are you? It sounds like you're outdoors somewhere. Sam? Hello, Sam. Sam, can you hear?
Yes, hello.
Yeah, you're in a car.
Something's not working right.
Yeah, you're in a car, I imagine. Sam?
Not anymore.
He's gone.
He's gone. Okay. Well, we just lost Sam. Give us a call, folks. Right now we don't see Jason, but we do see he has a cat tree there. What do you call those?
A cat tree.
A cat tree. Yeah. Because Damien always used to have one in back of him, and there probably would be if the lights were on in the room there. But
No, I'm downstairs now. You'll never see the cat tree behind me ever again.
will we ever? Oh, yeah. Usually, sometimes when Jason calls, the cat knows that he's on camera, and so he will go and sit on the perch. Because cats know when you're looking at them. Like what do cats do today? Because when I had cats, they would always sit on top of the television set. But those were in the days when they could sit on top of television sets.
Now we have these little pre-made ledges that you buy, and you mount them to your windowsill. And they have this little ledge that's on your windowsill, and they sit there all day.
Well, they love the ledge, and they love to look out the window and see stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hold on a second. Wait a minute. We got to do something here. I just see the sign that he's holding up. You see the sign that Jason is holding up. Is she listening, Jason? Okay. Here. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you, everybody. Happy birthday, Sabrina. Happy birthday to you. Okay, that's happy birthday. What, you turned up, you had to get your money's worth out of your Echo, right?
Oh, you'd enjoy it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, we could use some more callers if anybody wants to call. If nobody wants to call, fuck all y'all. That's how I feel. That's what they say down south. Fuck all y'all. Anyway, we got a lot of people between the TV and the audio version. We got a lot of people listening tonight, so that's good.
I have a new potential sponsor.
Yeah. What is that?
Sink the Stink.
Sink wait a minute. Sink the Stink. Well, that's you were talking about. That's for your scuba diving stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Sabrina. Sabrina, happy birthday.
And you'll get 2 cases of Sink the Stink.
Thank you. Thanks for that.
Can we ask you how old you are?
I will be.
Huh?
I'll be 30 tomorrow.
34, you say?
30. No, 30.
Oh, 30. Oh. Yeah, she looks very young, Jason. Are you older than her?
Yeah. I've had to go into the hospital before, and she was there with me, and the doctor called her my daughter.
Really?
I'm only 5 years older.
I know, but she has a very young look to her.
Yeah, she has a little baby face.
A little baby face. Oh, and she's patting his head if you have been watching us on the TV tonight. But anyway, I was trying to think about, we could go over to Drudge and see what the big headlines are.
All right.
Jenner says he has a gender transition series coming to E!
Shocker.
I mean, come on.
You missed the big news.
What?
Brian Williams, his inquiry is said to expand.
His inquiry is said to expand?
NBC's inquiry into Brian Williams will expand.
What else did he do? Did he kill people? What did he do? I mean, come on. How do you...
He was in a helicopter that was near one that killed people.
No. But what I'm trying to say
He shot down the helicopter that was in front of him.
I mean, they keep saying that they're going to have more of an inquiry into him. What isn't this enough? I mean, what more? And here's one for you. Diet Pepsi is dropping aspartame.
It's about time.
Which was the blue
poison.
It was the blue stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the blue sweetener?
NutraSweet.
Aspartame turns into formaldehyde inside your body and hardens your arteries.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
It's good for my complexion, though.
My arteries aren't hardening.
It keeps them nice and Jew white.
I've had enough of that stuff to drink in my lifetime that I probably should be dead by now, or my arteries should be so hard I can't sit down.
I think there were stories during World War II, during Vietnam, that the Viet Cong could tell the difference between dead Americans and dead Vietnamese because of all the preservatives in the body, that the American bodies, like a week later, you couldn't really tell the difference, but their bodies, the dead, they were already decomposing.
Should we go somebody look that up on Snopes and see if that's like an urban legend?
If aspartame would keep me hard, I'd stop using Viagra.
But anyway, the new stuff they're going to is Splenda.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're going to Splenda.
There's some other crap that my nutritionist recommended called New Stevia.
No, it's
which
called
is supposed to be
Stevia. It's called
okay.
Stevia.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the green packet.
She has me use the blue, the New Stevia.
No, but the blue is the new.
And it's not the aspartame, it's stevia, but it's NU-stevia.
Oh, I see. New
There's also
stevia?
sugar you can get from the agave, too, that's really good. It's supposed to be pretty good for you, too.
Well, all I know is I just want Coca-Cola to taste like Coca-Cola. Here in America, you cannot get Coca-Cola like it used to taste.
Sure you can.
No,
you buy the
just have to
glass
go to a
bottle from
taqueria.
Mexico.
Well, you have to go. There is stuff you can buy at Costco that comes from Mexico. That's the old formula, where they use sugar as opposed to what did they use for Coca-Cola in America?
High fructose corn
High
syrup.
fructose corn syrup.
Yeah, you can get that.
And
but,
you go to Europe. I'll order a Coca-Cola, and everywhere else I drink Diet Coke. I actually drink Coke One, and I don't even do that much anymore since the kidney stone. But I use that, and hold on a second. Guess what? It's Lord Blazik is calling. Here we go. Hi, Patrick. But I would go over to Europe and I would have the regular Coca-Cola, and I go, oh my God, this is like when I was a kid. This, that tart sweetness that Coca-Cola had. It kind of had that sweetness, but you had a tart bite to it. Oh,
yeah, the feeling you get just before you go into diabetic shock.
That's right. And what's wrong with a little diabetic shock now and then? Anyway, hey, guess who's here? The lovely and attractive Patrick Blazik. Oh, that's a nice red shirt tonight you're wearing. That's to offset my orange and blue, is it?
It is. I planned it this way, yes.
Yes, you planned it that way. And did you watch any of the Bruce Jenner interview?
I would rather throw hot coffee in my eye sockets and put a drill in my ear than give two flying fucks about that idiot life. Good for him or her, whatever it is now. If
whatever it is,
happy, if that person is happy where they're at now, good for them. I don't give a shit. Move on.
So you prefer the paint peeling show over that, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Well, but here's the thing: the worst part about that interview is tonight he came out as a Republican.
How much did they pay him for this
He's
interview?
one of you.
They wouldn't pay
You
him.
are one of him.
They wouldn't pay him anything, actually, to tell you the truth.
So is he in jail or anything for killing the person in the car accident?
No. He, they haven't filed any charges against him.
That was being chased, I think.
No, there's some.
He rear-ended somebody.
Well, that's now that he's come out. But no, just that was a cheap shot. I should have never taken it. No, but he.
Glad you did.
If it were you or me who had that accident, we'd be up on charges right now. But he's got every lawyer in the world working on the deal.
I thought either he was drunk or he was on his phone.
It wasn't that he was drunk. He was sober. They gave him a sobriety test and he was fine. But he could have been texting. That might have happened. But the accident wasn't. Somebody pushed him into the other car. Okay.
Oh, really?
But had he maybe not been texting, he would have been alert enough to kind of avoid a problem.
I thought it was just him as an individual.
Yeah,
blasted it to the back end of a car.
Well, there's so many different stories about what went on there.
The other thing on Drudge, it looks like there's going to be a WWF fight between Fiorina and Hillary.
Why would anybody want Carly Fiorina? I mean, this is a woman who almost single-handedly...
She can hit.
No, but this is a woman who almost single-handedly brought down Hewlett-Packard through bad management.
People have short memories.
And she lost for what? Governor or was it senator in California? Governor. So what makes anybody think she could possibly be a good candidate? Yes, Jason.
There's another Republican that's not announced yet, but what I'm hearing might be is the great governor of Michigan, Rick Snyder, who in Michigan he always ran as he's the nerd, and I don't understand how he won on that platform, but he's starting to go to visit other states and campaign there, so he might be another Republican going on the platform.
Yeah. I never heard of the guy. Have you heard of him, Patrick? Being a good Republican?
No, I actually haven't.
And have you, Phil?
No, I didn't think Michigan was a state.
Oh, okay.
Well, I've heard of him some, but not enough to talk about it.
Yeah.
He's from right here in Michigan.
Right in the middle of Michigan.
Yeah, when you hit down on the table, you can really feel it.
Yeah. But Carly Fiorina, who in their right mind would even think that she would be a good candidate?
Yeah, she's not very likable.
She's not likable, but more than that, all you got to do is say, this is the woman who got fired from HP because she almost took the whole company into bankruptcy.
She's going to come out as a man.
Yeah, and then she runs for governor of California and can't win that. So what makes you think if she can't win for governor of California that she could win for president of the United States?
Woman versus woman.
Oh, wouldn't
Carly Fiorina is the devil. She is horrible.
And explain that in your terms, Damien.
She's just, a bitch,
Could you up the stakes on that one?
She ran HP just like that, and everybody at HP hated her, and they eventually ousted her because she was such a bitch. She's rich. Yeah. And she's powerful, and that's why people would consider her as running as a president, because she has the ability to do so, basically.
Mm-hmm. Like, can you come up with a better term than bitch?
Rich bitch.
What?
I'll leave it at that.
Okay, yes, Patrick.
Is she single? I don't give a shit about the other stuff. As long as she's loaded, I don't have a job. I can put up with the bitchiness. I can make her happy in other ways. So
we should just find you a rich girlfriend.
Yes.
In
there are lots of nice rich girls out there, In
1991, and I don't know how true this is, but this kid who worked for me said that Carly Fiorina was his mother. And the way he would respond to his phone calls was like the captain of the Navy called him up, and he would perk up and yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. I can't remember his name. I could probably go into my employment records, but he was a ne'er-do-well, and he used to sand floors. That was his thing. And he said his mother was Carly Fiorina, but this is before Carly Fiorina had any notoriety.
I don't think she has any sons named Carlos Martinez.
I don't think it was Carlos. I can't remember his name, but that was his claim to fame. And he'd get phone calls, and he would just, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, whatever you say.
We could go back to our discussion last night of Sarah Palin. I'm just wondering, would I let her blow me? I think that's a good question to ask a liberal, and my answer would be no.
Come on, dude, you let a guy blow you.
Yes, but I would. Yes, but I wouldn't let Sarah Palin blow me.
She could be pretty athletic, very talented, knows how to handle the flute.
I'm sure she does. I'm sure she's a raging
set of hormones.
Set of hormones in the sack.
Yeah.
I mean, that could well be, but there would be some kind of Jewish guilt I have, okay, that would constantly be nagging at me about, I'm letting Sarah Palin blow me. And I just, Now, I know what a lot of people are saying.
Makes it better.
Why in the world would Sarah Palin ever want to blow you? But we're just setting up a hypothetical question here.
Well, what's his name? Cosby? He can help.
Yeah. Patrick, you look like you were going to jump in and say something.
Well, I was just waving off the Jewish guilt. I mean, don't worry about it. That's like Catholic guilt. It's the same thing. I wouldn't have any Catholic guilt.
Okay, just between us, because we don't have that many listeners anyway. I mean, we have a lot tonight. The TV has got a lot of people. Everybody, do something silly for the TV tonight. Yeah, right. Make faces and whatever. But anyway,
my teeth hurt. My teeth hurt.
Show your broken tooth.
You can't see it. It's a top.
You know what this looks like in the middle. You're in the middle on the TV right now, Phil. It looks like everybody's old uncle.
I feel like everybody's
old uncle. To begin with,
uncle.
I notice you're in your bathrobe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't been moving around too much.
I mean, at least like
today.
Renee shows up with her pajamas on, but they're great pajamas. One day it's desserts all over her, the next day it's like farm animals. But it looks like a bathrobe you stole from a hotel.
It is. I'm trying to figure out which hotel it was from.
Did you steal it?
No.
Oh, wait a minute. There it is. What is it? I can't.
Days in.
No. I don't stay at the Days Inn.
But you bought them?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
My roommate constantly buys the. He goes. He has a date. He's not my roommate anymore, but he's my best friend.
We know what. Why don't you just say what it really was? He was your gay lover.
Yeah, he'll go to the what is it? The O or the W or any of these hotels. This probably came from Laguna Niguel from the Ritz. And he buys them, and then he'll buy 2 or 3, and he'll say, here. And that's how I wind up with my bathrobes.
So we run out of everything on Drudge?
Yeah, never.
Never?
Never.
Never, ever?
Yeah.
Let's see here. Then I could go over to... do you ever go over
Tapper?
to... You ever... Jake Tapper. Oh. Yeah, he's over at CNN.
He's got your morning show.
Huh?
He stole your morning show.
What morning show?
Says he used to host CNN Sunday morning show.
Oh, the CNN Sunday morning show. Well, no, before this, it was that fat woman. What was her name? Candy Crowley, who was running that show. I hate to identify her as that fat woman, but you couldn't. That's the best way to identify her.
Police. This is a good one. Police neglected woman 82. She dies after 6 months in a chair.
Really?
How's that one?
Nah.
It's underneath the.
Oh, wait a minute! Here comes Renee, and let's see if she's wearing tonight Renee's
dress.
Huh?
She dies.
Renee, turn down.
Listening to her audio.
Turn down your audio, Renee, and turn on your camera.
Oh, it's not on?
No, it's not on.
Oh.
Wait a minute. Here comes Renee.
Renee, turn down your audio.
What? Oh, I forget I've got you on.
Yeah. There you go. Well, it'll go. Oh, okay. Now,
I'm sorry.
Turn your camera on and off.
Okay. I apologize.
Let's see, because right now there's a picture of an eagle, everybody, if you're looking to see Renee. But the next thing you should see of Renee is...
She doesn't have pajamas on.
Oh, I thought you'd have your pajamas on.
It's Friday night. I got dressed.
You got... Oh, okay, because you're on the TV.
And I wore a stolen robe just for you.
Look at him. Doesn't he look like everybody's like that uncle you just could never figure out what he did for a living, and he showed up and He always brought something good, like cake.
He
or
worked
something.
for the union.
Yeah,
I was going to say.
Is that what you're going to say, Hugo?
I was going to say something about unions. Yes.
Solid.
You know, are you still a Canadian citizen, Hugo?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Do you have any intention of giving that up?
No.
Well, I guess Canadians wouldn't.
Well, my main reason is if I ever need to go back and get the health care that they get over there, I always have the option.
So in other words, what you're saying is, and I want you to take note of this, Phil, the perks of being Canadian are better than the perks of being an American.
I don't know. You know, he lives in this country, he works in this country, but, you know, he'd sacrifice what he does here just to take advantage of his birthright there. Where he doesn't, you pay taxes into Canada as a foreign national working in the United States, and then you write a check to Canada.
No.
But then you'd go over and you'd use their benefits.
No,
That's
but
correct.
he can't. He'd have to go back for 6 months, I think it is, before you can use the
Something like that,
benefits
yep.
or something like that. Yeah.
But what if it metastasized before the 6 months?
Well,
then shame on America for not helping them.
That's right.
That's right.
You're my kind of lefty, Jason.
Hey, Phil, you know what? If it wasn't for President Obama's healthcare initiative, which is called the ACA and not Obamacare,
Right.
I would be moving to Vancouver. I would not be living in the United States if we didn't have ACA. I would have been moving to Vancouver right now.
Right.
And not to Hawaii. So, and it wasn't, if we had no health care, I would immediately be out of here.
Yeah.
Up to Canada.
Right.
But since we have it, at least I get to stay here in the United States.
And I mentioned this last time. It's still, every time I go to the doctor and I have to pay for it, it feels weird. And I've been here almost 20 years. It just doesn't feel right to me. It never will.
It doesn't feel right to me. And I've lived here all my life.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I just think that, you know, what are the privileges of belonging? You know, what little perks do we get? And you know, I wish we got some perks. And the best perk they can give us is good health. We, you know, call it a good Samaritan law. You know. All the things we say, how wonderful we are, and what a wonderful group of people we are, and what a wonderful nation we are, and then we let people die by the roadside because they don't have insurance.
Of all the things taxes should be used to pay for, you think that'd be a good one to pick?
Well, I mean, if I don't mind a little raise in taxes if they're going to take care of me medically, they're just going to say send the bill to the government. You know,
the thing I always say is, you know, every other country has universal health care. So why are we right because we don't? Yeah. Everybody else is doing something different, but we're right. We're right because we don't do it.
Well, and you know, I've never heard anybody come from England who came from England saying, "Boy, am I glad to be in America. That health care over in England really sucks."
It's the dental care that's a problem.
I don't hear anybody in Canada saying, "Damn, man, my molar is broken. Let me go to the U.S."
They definitely don't say, "Let me go to Britain." That's for sure.
Well, and also, I mean, the French, they've got one of the best medical systems in the world, and it again is any country you go to that's one of the industrialized nations. They're all single-payer health plans.
All but us.
All but us. And
we should be proud.
Why do we treat each other so badly? I don't understand.
Freedom.
It would be worse if we treated each other like the French.
Really? Why?
Well, the French
nicely.
The French aren't a lot of fun. They're, you know, to begin with, they smell bad.
It's the Germans that aren't that much fun.
I remember once renting a car in Geneva and the woman who was there from Hertz was French, and she stood between us, and the smell coming off her body was just unbelievable.
Europe in the summer. Ooh.
I see what I was looking for on Drudge, and this is big news. Hold the back page. Anti-aging effort moves into foreskin facials. is how they're going to make people young again.
Right.
Yeah, that's drudge.
Well, no, but that's good. That's good because every time a good-looking woman walks by, your face completely loses its wrinkles. There had to be a joke like that.
Yeah,
somewhere.
you rub it gets bigger.
Yeah, the French, they are a funny race. What was the line? Something. The French, they are a funny race. They do something with their something. And they fuck with their face. I think that was but I can't remember the first part of that.
They like Jerry Lewis.
Huh?
Jerry Lewis is funny.
Yeah, they like Jerry Lewis.
I like Jerry Lewis, but maybe I like the French.
I mind the German.
Oh. I'm French Canadian, and for some reason people always tell me, "So you're French," and I'm always like, "No."
The French don't like you
French.
guys.
I speak French, but I am not French. I don't want to be associated with those
You
people.
know, the French don't like the French Canadians.
They don't?
They don't like anyone else either, but,
Well, yeah.
When we
with
were...
that, I'm going to say buenas noches.
Oh, okay. You got to go to sleep, huh? Okay, Jason, thanks so much. You're really great. We love hearing from you. Okay. Bye-bye.
When we were down in Rio...
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people who spoke
Portuguese
over there.
But it's European Portuguese and that's how they weigh if you're a good person, you speak European Portuguese. If you're a lowlife, you speak, South American Portuguese. Gesundheit.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it was really weird to hear this thing where they just batted back and forth between, is it European Portuguese or is it... And they were really particular about that. I thought that was kind of strange.
Yeah.
And if you have a lot of money, it doesn't matter what you speak.
That's true, too. Is that your game plan, Phil?
Nah, it's too late.
It's too late.
I spent it all.
On bathrobes?
No, these were free.
Those were free, yeah. So how's everything in the storage locker business, Damien?
Oh, pretty good. We had an auction this week.
Oh, is that from all the people?
Did you get those guys to come from the TV show?
No, we're just Kitati.
Just Kitati.
They don't care about us.
Well, now you have the auctions when somebody doesn't pay their bill, or you have to wait a certain amount of time, don't you?
Yes, we have to wait 62 days of non-payment before we can auction off this stuff. And there are a whole bunch of other, hoops you have to jump through legally in order to do so, and not be sued.
When you do it, is there a lot of people that show up?
Depends on the day, but we can get like up to 35 people, I guess.
So a lot of people do that storage wars thing.
Well,
yeah,
but I imagine you can get some good stuff fairly cheaply, right?
No.
What do you mean, no?
Most people put junk in that they don't want to throw away and they can't separate with, but it's always junk. Except in my lot.
For the most part, I mean, I've been doing this 2 years, and for the most part, what I've seen people pull out is junk. They just bought. And thankfully, they didn't spend very much. Our lockers don't go for very much money, but they didn't. I don't think they would even get their $325 back, which is what our highest one went for this time.
I got to do something about my locker. I really do.
I have one too.
Huh?
Where is it?
It's in Petaluma.
Hola and hello.
It's in Petaluma, and I'm spending $250 a month or something like that.
Damien and I will go through it.
Listen, I'm about ready to just say, have at it. Just send me all the tapes. That's what I really want.
And if you find a record, "They're Coming to Take Me Away, Haha" album by Napoleon XIV, I want it back.
You gave me that?
Yeah.
I
loaned it to you.
I sold all my albums,
Really?
Yeah, and I don't remember seeing that one, just like I don't remember seeing you.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
You mean that was a record? Why would I even take that record from you?
You said you wanted it. That you were going to either record it. You didn't have it. You wanted it.
No, I can't believe that I would ever say that about.
Yeah.
They're coming to take me away. Ha ha. They're coming to take me away.
But it wasn't the
Ha,
45.
ha.
It was the album.
Oh, you mean the one that went on for a half hour? They're going to take me away. Ha ha.
Nah, there were other greats in there, like I Live in a Split Level Head, and a number of other.
Boy, you really resent
songs.
giving me that album, don't you?
Huh?
You really resent giving me that album.
No, I just figured you'd give it back, but you didn't.
Okay, so wait, hold on a second. Just to play.
Now you don't have a turntable.
Sorry. Patrick, you're up.
I was going to ask Alex if he remembered hanging out with me back in the day.
Yes, I do. Remember all the good times we used to have? That was before your wheelchair.
Exactly.
And that's when we used to go out and I one time I had sex at your place, but I left a little bit of a stain on the sheet, so I removed the sheet and put a new sheet down. I remember that.
Now here's one that'll rock your world. Do you remember loaning me your yellow Camaro for a week?
I never owned a Camaro.
Susan did.
Wait a minute.
It's like a 71.
Was that when we weren't living together?
I don't remember.
Because I never owned a Camaro.
Yeah, my car got hit.
Are you
or
sure
something?
this person you knew back then was me?
Maybe it was one of Susan's boyfriends. I don't know.
No, but I never owned a Camaro.
Oh, but Susan did.
Well, maybe she did, but that was after we
You
were
bought
separated.
it for $1,000. I remember.
Did I really?
Yeah.
Holy crap, Batman.
Man, I can't even remember cars that I.
Those were some good drugs.
Well, I'll tell you what happened to me the other day. This is getting kind of really, really weird. Is I was trying to remember, what do you call it? Trying to remember when I was talking about Klamath Falls, Oregon, for some reason here, and then after the show was over, I talked about how I had worked in Klamath Falls, Oregon, and I tried to figure out when was it that I actually worked in Klamath Falls, Oregon. Was it between this and that, or what? And I can't really remember where in my history of working radio stations the Klamath Falls gig came into play. All I remember is that they had a room full of records where they were throwing records away, and the whole room, all the floors was all filled with these 45s all over, just scattered everywhere. And when I was on a break one day, I went in there and sat on the floor and started going through them, seeing what I might want to take home, and I saw one. And it was on Sun Records. And it was Mystery Train by Elvis Presley.
Oh.
And I said, I don't want that shit. And I threw it away. Do you know how much that would be worth today? Somewhere in the neighborhood.
But it was a promo copy, right?
No.
Not for sale?
No. It was it was the yellow Sun Records label. Some of them that came used to be white, the labels, and those were the promo copies. But no. And it was, and a lot of times the promo copies, believe it or not, are worth more than the other one. But anyway, the point is that that record would be worth about $25,000 today.
And you think it's in your storage unit?
No, I didn't take it, but I remember seeing it.
See, you didn't grow up in New York. As a kid in New York, I used to go down to Billboard magazine, and they would give us all the 45s that you could carry. And I had a hand truck, and I used to go down there with my friend Barry, and we would load the hand truck up with 4 or 5 boxes of 45s, and it was like, we hit it big,
Oh, really?
But, yeah, but sometimes you'd end up with 40 copies of Carmen Leggio,
Carmen what?
Carmen Leggio. Leggio.
What's that? I don't know what you're talking about.
It was a entertainer And we thought we'd scored because they gave us a whole box of them. There must have been about 30 of them in a box.
Well, here's something for you, Phil.
You would make me flip my lid, right? You know you laughed. I heard you laugh. You laughed and then you left. But now you know I'm utterly mad.
Yeah.
They're coming to take me away, haha. They're coming to take me away.
That was a hit record.
1967, #1. Pushed out and WMCA survey by the Throgs and Wild Thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do you have the back flip side of that single?
No.
It's in reverse.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that was lazy. That was really lazy. But anyway, it's probably. But if you want to go out to my, if you want to go out to my storage locker, maybe it's out there.
We'll go take a look.
Yeah, I don't know if the Camaro's in there, but was it a yellow? It was a yellow Camaro, right?
It's a yellow Camaro.
I think she did have a yellow Camaro. I didn't know that I paid for it though.
Yeah.
I did?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you did, and you loaned it to me.
Yeah. That woman, I spent a lot of money on that woman, keeping her alive for a while. And it wasn't any court-ordered deal. I was just a nice guy.
Is she alive now?
Yeah, she's still alive. Yeah.
She made it through all of that?
She made it through all of her little problems, yeah.
Well, she was funny. She was smart.
She was beautiful.
She was a good person.
She was beautiful.
And she was beautiful.
Now she weighs about 300 pounds.
Really?
Yeah, everybody who ever leaves me gets fat. It's a known fact. It's one thing that girlfriend loves to hold over me, is how all my ex-girlfriends gained weight. And she will even imagine that, there's a couple of them that haven't, but she likes to imagine they've gained weight. But of course, girlfriend is like, they said to me, told her that when she had this operation, on her esophagus, that she would lose about 15 pounds. And I said to myself, she loses 15 pounds and,
fade away.
She'd be a scarecrow. But she only lost 2 pounds. So
that's good. She doesn't have a lot of meat.
No, she's spindly. I can take my fingers and put them right around her wrist.
In 2003, my wife lost 209 pounds in one day.
You left her?
She divorced me.
Yeah, she divorced you. Yeah.
Knew that was coming.
Well, the joke really goes, you know how to lose 209 pounds of ugly fat. Yeah. Divorce him. So, Scott, you've been very quiet tonight, Scott.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I have.
almost forgot you were here.
I'm just sitting there. I was reading your wiki page, seeing when you went to Oregon, but it's not in there.
It's not in there.
It's not in there.
He never went.
So
it's
you
just
remember
a figment
Texas.
of his imagination.
No. See, I think it was before. Was it before I went into the military? Yes, that it was before I went into the military. I think I know what it was. Yeah, I was working at KTIM in San Rafael, and I got this job in Klamath Falls, Oregon. Then I got a job in Modesto, California. Then I went into the military. When I came out, the people who hired me in Modesto hired me for their station in Sacramento. Oh, thank God I now have my history back again.
You need to update your page.
Huh?
You need to update your wiki.
Do you know who wrote that
Tom
page?
does.
Tom Yamaguchi wrote that page. I'm thinking maybe altering it a little bit, just putting in nothing but lies. But
had sex with Bruce Jenner.
Had sex with Bruce Jenner, right?
Yeah.
Nah, Bruce is 10 years younger than I am, so I don't. Well, I could have gone after young guys, and that could have been, at that time. But I'm trying to think now. Yeah, that would be that would be how it went.
Look, he froze.
Who froze? Oh! But it's almost the end of the show. It can't freeze at this time.
It did.
It'll take the rest of the show for it to come back.
You're spinning.
Oh, wait a minute. No, here we go.
No, now you're back.
Now I'm back. Yep. Yes, you go.
No, I was just checking if I was frozen. Sorry.
So anybody have anything interesting you're going to do this weekend, Damien?
I actually work all weekend.
Oh, okay.
So yes, unfortunately, no. No, and besides, I had just had big projects and stuff, so I'm gonna take some time off and do nothing if I can.
Wow.
By the way, your desk photos looked really nice. Good job.
Thanks.
Great.
It works quite well.
Yeah. That was good.
Really?
Did you see it on the Facebook?
No.
Yeah.
He did a really nice job with glass and wood.
I'll
Just
have
stuff.
to, have to go over there and check it out.
It's actually plexiglass.
Okay.
Yeah. Oddly enough, we have right now more people watching us on the TV than have ever watched us doing this TV thing.
Hey, everyone.
So wave to all those people.
Please call. I'm the only female here when Marjorie goes to sleep.
And here, of course, over here, that's Lord Blazik. That's Patrick. And Patrick wouldn't kick Sarah Palin out of bed, right?
Right.
That's right. And that's Damian Chaplin. He lives in Katati. And
Kotati.
Yeah, and he runs a storage unit place there. And then there's Scott Boddicker. Where are you again, Scott?
Texas.
Where,
We're sorry.
Oh, in Plano.
There you go.
Yeah, there's some synapses still firing correctly. Then there's Hugo Fournier, and Hugo is living in
Canada,
Lexington,
Kentucky.
Lexington, Kentucky. Yes, sir.
Yes, and he came all the way down. He sounds like somebody out of Slapshot. He came all the way from up there in the wonderful
Montreal.
Huh?
To be with her.
Montreal. To be with her. See, that's a good reason to do it, right?
Yes.
And how long have you been married to her?
Well, we've been married 3 years, but we've been together 18.
Really?
Yes.
Why'd you wait that long?
I wanted to be sure.
You wanted to be sure. No, I was together with Marjorie.
Took that long to get the sound booth.
I was together with Marjorie for about 9 years before she and I got married. So,
yeah, we were together for about 4 years before we got married.
Yeah. And after all that time, I still think it was a mistake. But anyway, that's another story. Then, of course, that's Renee. Renee is not festooning herself tonight with the wonderfulness that is her pajamas. I especially like the ones with desserts all over them. I think
Thank you.
Yeah, that one's especially good. And Scott Boddicker, who is from Plano, as I said, and but you've been a great bunch. And we got a whole bunch of people watching the TV thing tonight, which is really good. And that made me feel really, really happy and spirited and all of that. Hey, let me put on a theme song here. Hold on a second. There we go. I want to thank you all for participating tonight. And Hugo, Renee, Scott, Damien, Patrick, Phil. Thank you, Phil. I didn't mention you, did I, Phil?
Nah, I'm just going to retire and
he's in
rub my teeth with Ambisol.
Contra Costa County. And, of course, let's see here. And did I say Jason? Where is Jason? What happened to
He left.
Oh, he left. Jason left, so I got to thank Jason. And who else do I have to thank? Oh, there goes my camera.
Tony.
And Tony. You got to thank Tony.
Tony was here.
Yeah, he was here, and then, of course, he disappeared in a puff of smoke, as he always does. Anyway, thanks to all of you. I really appreciate it. And hopefully we'll see you again next week. Bye-bye, everybody.
Good night.
Okay. Oh, everybody's picture just came back. It's about time.
Have a good weekend.
Okay. Anyway, that's it for me. I'm Alex Bennett, and I'll see you again this time next week on Monday night at 10 o'clock Eastern on Gabnet, a tune-in partner. Meanwhile, yes, Rebel Stoke Jim is next. And stick around and give him a call, damn it, or I'm going to get really mad. In the meantime, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Okay, I guess everybody's saying goodbye, and so will I. Let me see here if I can just change this so that I can have a full picture of me, and see if that doesn't and say goodnight to everybody, and thank you all for joining us. And this is the TV version of it, the video version of it, and I hope you enjoyed it. There were a lot of you out there tonight, and that's terrific. See you later, everybody. Thanks. Let me turn it off.